Over 11,000 years in prison? I wouldn't want to find out what that feels like. Question everything, trust nothing. Welcome to Debate Crypto. It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, here on another Friday. Actually, I shouldn't say another Friday. The first Friday we have done in a long time. Crusader, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. Got a bit of a cold. They got me, bro. They got me. They heard me talking about some stuff, and they were like, "Release the Kraken. Go get him."
I already know what it is. You weren't masking. This is simple.
That's right. Let me put my mask on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd appreciate if you'd
Now
keep
you're
that
all
on
safe.
during the stream. I do not want to catch via,
right.
It could come from Miami all the way up to Ohio. We don't know. This is dangerous. Watch the news. They'll tell you all about it. All right, Crypto fam, glad that everybody is here. Like I said, it's Friday. We've been streaming every day except for Saturdays. And then on Sundays, we pinned in the chat, we've got not only Debate Crypto for the weekly wrap-up, but then right after that, right following 1 p.m., Danger Close Alpha. If you're not subbed, make sure to click that button and have some fun with us regarding all of the politicking that we be doing over there. So let me jump into the chat. I think first up in the chat today, unless I'm incorrect, I don't think I am this time, though. Green Day Profits, trying to start a new streak. Green Day Profits, glad that you're here, brother. You are always on top of the game. Looking forward to seeing. Oh, there he is, Kenton Smith. I actually didn't even see that he was in here. I was planning on seeing him. Kenton Smith and Patriot Caveman. Man, we got some loyal following. Hey, Chemo and Crypto's in here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. All right, let's kick it off. Let's start off with the markets. Let's see what's going on there. I think we might be green. Yes, we are. The global crypto market cap's at 1.04. I'll bet you guys couldn't have guessed that. $1 trillion with a T. That's up 0.37%. Bitcoin's at 25,779, down just a hair. ETH down just a hair at 1626. Guys, these markets have just been boring, but that's okay.
All that volatility in that last week, bro. Half a whole percent. I'm telling you,
just
this is
up and down.
This is so risky right now.
Up and down, up and down. Yeah, BNB's at 213, flirting with that 212 number we've been talking about forever. XRP doing what XRP does, baby, 50 cents. Crusader's turning me into a skeptic. Great, glad to hear that. Cardano's at 25 cents. Dogecoin at 6 cents. And then Solana just under 20 bucks. And Tron just under 8 cents. Crusader, you planning on dropping any TA love, or are we just kind of going with the, you got a little something for us?
A little something. I mean, macro levels, things are still the same, but I can share on both ends here. So as you guys seen, this is what we're looking at, right? For the macro level, for the yearly range, we're still, but yesterday we had a green day. Look at that green day yesterday.
Green day profits.
And then right back. It's like, gotcha. So once again, we're still holding this support here, hoping that, there's not a lot of strength, man. I really don't know what's going to propel us all the way up here to break back into this regression trend. 28.9, unless we get ETF approval. There's nothing else that can cause strength in the market right now. There is no strength.
Yeah.
So the major levels to be looking at here is the next major level is, like I said, the quarter two pivot, 24.7. We lose that, which we've been supported 2 times already on it. We're going to go down. We got the March pivot, which is the 23,267. We lose that, and we could be heading down to this February piv of 21. So definitely
we got the CME gap just a little bit below that.
Yeah, there's a few other levels down here, but I don't want to put a bunch of levels and make it super complex. Yeah. And then so I'll give you something a little on the 15-minute chart here. So let me take this macro stuff out of the way, and let's jump into the daily here. So on the daily, we jump into the 15-minute. So anybody out there looking to do some stuff,
actively playing the markets?
That's right.
Oh, we're diddling in the middle.
That's right. Where did my range go? Where did my parallel channel go? Oh, here it is. Cool. So this has been it. This has literally been the thing that's been happening, right? We ran up yesterday hard, right? All day yesterday, we ran all the way up here to 26.2, 26.4. Started off the day here. The daily open for the day was up here above 26.2. We kind of ranged. We lost the daily open. And the minute we lost it, that was the short you
Wow.
take,
Yeah.
because look at that. Just nuked right through multiple levels, nuked through the daily pivot, the week, not the week high, that level's incorrect, and the week open into the range that we're in. This is the range that we're in here. And it just nuked right all the way down to the value area low of the range, 25.6. And then we've just been trying to keep a heartbeat open. So, man, I'm just saying, there's no strength in the market. Chart prime down here, signaling a reversal in this downward movement. Also signaled over here, hey, this is massively oversold. Another reversal signal, and bam, we came in
Been
with it.
accurate, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but I like using it as confluence along with all these other levels. Even though the reversal came in a little early, right? Came in over here, and obviously there was still some more nuking to do. The oversold was, just telling you like, hey, this is coming, any minute now. We hit the lower area down here with this green bar.
Yeah.
All these 3 items here: green bar, green triangle, oversold square, hitting the value area low. Boom. If you would have taken this long, it would have been a nice movement here.
Depending on what kind of leverage you dropped on it, yeah, for sure could have made.
Yeah, it's 1%, 1.20% of a move on that long. So not even that much would have been a nice move right there.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening in the 15-minute. I expect this thing to keep going sideways for the rest of the day, possibly a little bit lower. I don't see us anything but heading down.
Yeah, and then we got the weekend. Weekends are usually pretty boring. I will tell you that Monday, you know what? I thought about this the other day. So Monday's 9/11. I have a flight scheduled for Monday. Probably not the best day to be flying, but prayers going out to
first thing you do when you sit down, you're about to play. Hey guys, you remember 20 years ago?
We're definitely not having that conversation on the plane, or they'll be exiting me stage left. Sir, can you please come with us? We do not have this conversation.
There's an extremely tan guy sitting somewhere. He's like
right there.
Yeah, doing little hand signs. Like,
Get him. We got Brett in the house. Brett, long time no see, brother. Said, hey, everyone, finally able to catch a live again. And then Patrick Leishman and Ty Slippy says he keeps up with us weekly on Twitter. Ty, thank you for being here. We're glad that you are here. I did want to pull up what Patriot Caveman said here. Y'all see Whoopi Goldberg's dumbass wearing a mask on a Zoom call to the View show? Can't fix stupid.
Just virtual signaling, man.
I couldn't not. It is, dude. It is legitimately, not going to get us in trouble on here. We'll work on getting in trouble over on Danger Close on Sunday. But it is interesting, man. I'm starting to see. So I was working out this morning, and as I do every morning, but they have a bunch of TVs running where you can't hear them, but unless you're on like one of the treadmills or whatever. But they got a bunch of TVs running, and on like 3 of the TVs, they were putting up like pictures of the hospitals again and talking about these new stats that were coming out. And effectively, they are just, kind of priming people for this idea. They're prepping people. Hey, it's coming. It's coming. And when we talked about it on TikTok, when we've talked about it on Danger Close, you get some pushback. People are like, no way they're going to do it again. Well, you heard it here. They are. And prepare for it. It is coming. Yeah. So not looking forward to that, but
we'll definitely discuss it more on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll discuss that more on Sunday. This is not the channel to do that on. We're trying to get to 10K, not get shut down right before 10K. So we'll play ball.
We've been losing followers all week.
I know, it's so ridiculous. Smash the like if you haven't already, and if you don't have the bell notifications on, make sure to do that. Sometimes because of maybe the conversations that we have on here, YouTube doesn't notify everybody. So make sure to turn on that notification, and then you'll know, hey, my boys are live. All right, let's kick it off. Let's talk about some altcoins first. We usually start off with Bitcoin. I want to start with alts, and one of the things that we've been talking about for a long time, different strategies in terms of making money in these markets. And this headline, I think, is kind of intended to scare people, but at the same time, I think this headline and this article proves what we've been speaking about. Crypto crisis. Over 90% of ADA, Matic, and AVAX holders are losing money. If you don't know, that's Cardano, Polygon, Matic, and then Avalanche. Says they're losing money. Holders of most cryptos are being punished with losses amid an extended bear market that started in the first half of 2022 for the crypto markets. However, there are 3 layer 1 blockchain tokens suffering the most among the top 20 cryptos by market cap. According to data gathered by Finbold from Into the Block, over 93% of Cardano holders, Polygon, Matic, and Avalanche are sitting in a losing position with their purchases, where their dollar cost of acquisition is higher than the respective price of each digital asset. Well, you know what? We've talked about this a lot. All right, let's see where this is at. So Cardano at 9.05 billion market cap at 25 cents. Whoa, look at that. So this red bar here shows you being out of the money. So Bitcoin looks like, you're just over half of people are, in the money. ETH, a little bit less, right? But Cardano's getting smashed. Polygon's getting smashed, and Avalanche getting smashed. Coincidentally, Crusader, these are 3 projects that are heavily, and were last run, heavily talked about. And I remember these projects specifically damn near at the top and still being heavily pushed at that point. So it doesn't surprise me at all. And this is why we talk about over the long term. We talk about dollar cost averaging. If these are projects that you believe in, hey, these lower prices, I know it gets annoying hearing us talk about it, but these lower prices are opportunities, not financial advice, but just throwing out there that if you started it up here, you believe it's going to go back up here or higher, why on the way down, as it's just been absolutely crushed, are we not taking advantage? The other question would be, didn't we tell you that this bear market was going to be painful? Didn't we tell you that there was going to be a lot of time in which we were going to feel pain? Haven't we been telling you that we think more pain is coming? I just look at these as opportunities, dude. This is a headline to kind of scare people around, but these are also 3 projects that I think are going to do very well this next bull run. And I just look at this and say, a 25-cent Cardano, let's freaking get it. What did it say Matic was at? Hold on.
Matic's at like 50 cents.
Matic was at 54 cents, and Avalanche was at $9.94. I think these are all opportunities. What do you think?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. People think people think this bear market is going to be different. The only thing that could be different is how Bitcoin reacts to certain things, because Bitcoin's the one paving the way, right? Bitcoin's the one that's getting the ETFs. Bitcoin's the one that institutional money wants. These other altcoins, there's no difference, right? When the bear market comes, the 90% drops are guaranteed. And this another thing is that those 3 projects, a lot of people didn't want to buy them when they were low last bear market. Nobody was talking about Cardano at 2 cents. Everybody said it was a dead project, right? Nobody was paying attention to Polygon. Nobody was paying attention to AVAX. And then it ran like crazy, and then people were accumulating at very high levels. Right, and they didn't dollar cost. They probably did not dollar cost average on the way down either. Same things, kind of. The only reason why XRP is not on that list is because it's been at the bottom forever. It hasn't moved from 40 cents or 50 cents in forever. So people have all accumulated there. But if you just pay attention to what happened to XRP just a few weeks ago when it hit 90 cents, you know how many people were buying at 90 cents thinking that thing was going to keep pumping forever? Yeah. And all those people are now underwater. So these are definitely 3 projects, like you said, that I agree. Very strong projects in the last bull market. Lots of things being developed on these blockchains. So I don't see how people don't dollar cost average into it if they already have a position. Obviously, not telling you what to do. Is just I've been dollar cost averaging into Cardano. I've yet to pick up AVAX. I haven't picked up any AVAX.
I've got a little bit.
And I have a little bit of Polygon that I probably want to pick up a little bit more. I was thinking Polygon was going to drop a little bit more, but it's been holding.
Yeah,
decent.
Polygon was one of them that we had talked about. We talked about VeChain. Cardano has been, a project that we definitely, liked. We actually had a conversation earlier about, trying to get into Cardano when it was 2 cents. I think I've told this story before, but Crypto Crow, when I first got into crypto, and maybe people can relate to this in the chat. Crusader and I were having this discussion earlier. When I first got into crypto, I didn't have any friends that were in crypto. Right. I didn't know Crusader. I didn't know any of these YouTubers. I didn't know people that were actually in crypto. So I was kind of doing this thing on my own, and I didn't understand the different blockchains. I didn't understand the different networks. I didn't understand like how to really move things around. I understood how to go on an exchange and buy something. And so when I was trying to get into Cardano at 2 cents, it was just because I was hearing Crow talk about it a lot. I liked what they were doing. There was just a few things that kind of said, hey, I like this. Let me try this out, right? Also, being a new crypto investor, it was 2 cents. And so I was looking at it and saying, I can put a couple $1,000 in and I'll buy a whole bunch, because I had this, I didn't truly understand market cap. I just didn't understand crypto, right? And so Binance at the time was to my knowledge, was the only place that you could buy it. Now, looking back, I guarantee I could have bought on KuCoin, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But because I had no fundamental understanding and I could not get verified on Binance, I didn't end up getting to buy Cardano until somewhere around 20-ish cents, maybe even around where it's at right now, 22 cents, 18 to 25 cents, something like that. And so I think people can probably relate to that. I would say, and I want to throw this out there to everybody, having that accountability person for taking profits that we've talked about, also having that person that can help you. There's things that Crusader knows
Just
that I definitely don't know, and
other,
bouncing ideas in different projects. Hey, I saw this. I started talking about VeChain for some reasons, and then Crusader was looking at it, and then Magic Internet Money started looking at it. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I see some really good opportunities here. But you can't do that if you're just the lone wolf, right? Having these conversations, I think, is important. It's part of the reason that listening to multiple different channels is important as well. You shouldn't get all your info from us. You shouldn't get all your info from Ben. You shouldn't get all your info from Crow. You should get a nice mixed review and then figure out what works for you. So
yeah, 100%. That's also was a struggle for me, right? I didn't know anybody in crypto.
no.
I was, and I was just doing what I could with the time I had to be able to do a little bit of research here and there, right? I wish I would have bought more ETH at $80. It was there for a long time, right? And I saw it, and I did buy some, but I didn't buy enough that I would say, yeah, I'm glad I bought a ton of it at that price point, because it's hard, right? It's hard when you are changing your mindset, where you come from. Most people come from a mindset of saving money. Save your money, put your money in the bank account and save it until you can buy whatever it is you're trying to buy. Trying to buy a house, start saving money, save money. And then you're out there buying these assets that every time you talk to somebody, they're like, are you crazy? What the hell is that? Right? And you start getting these reactions where you're like, am I the crazy one?
You start looking around like
is there something that I just don't get that everyone else is getting, right? And then bull market happens and you're like, I'm not crazy, I'm not an idiot, they're all wrong. Right? So it's tough. It's tough getting in and being new in the space when you don't have anyone around.
Chemo and Crypto said, none of my friends like crypto. I'm a lunatic to all of them. I believe in the technology where they only speak price points. That's a very simple idea that a lot of people don't understand. And it's an idea that people don't understand on the other side too. The reason that you hear people talk about Shiba, the reason you hear people talk about Dogecoin, the reason you hear people talk about all of these low priced coins is because they don't understand market cap. When people were talking about Shiba going to a penny, I actually, the other day at a gas station, Crypto came up with the guy, I forget, I think I had on an ETH shirt or something, and he asked me about it. We had about a 10-minute conversation. I had a few extra minutes. I had a 10-minute conversation with him, good conversation. But his first question was like, yeah, I've got a bag of Shiba. Like, do you think that's a good investment? Right. And I'm like, listen, do I think that you can make some money with it? For sure I do, because when the bull market kicks, you can make money on just about anything if you're diligent about taking profits and pay attention. But he asked me, can it get to a penny? And I said, hell no. And he was like, well, why not? And I said, because I don't know offhand what the market cap of Shiba is with where it's at. But as I recall, I think a penny on Shiba was at a minimum $1 trillion market cap. And I think it might have been higher than that.
Probably.
I'd have to double check, but it was a massive number. And people don't understand. They just look at, oh my gosh, look how many tokens I can buy. And if it goes to this low number, right? And a lot of times they don't have that fundamental understanding of what is market cap versus what I'm actually buying versus, what does this asset actually do?
Recently I made a TikTok talking about Dogecoin surpassing $1, and I got some comments hating, like, there's no way it can hit $1. It's impossible. Market cap, yada yada. And I'm like,
almost did it last time.
Do you understand what Elon does with Dogecoin? If he does get these money transmitting licenses that he's getting, and he just happens to throw, he made the logo Dogecoin.
It'd be $144 billion market cap to get to that.
To $1 from where it's at right now?
Approximately, yeah.
It's not even a crazy market cap.
It's almost what ETH is right now. ETH's at 195 billion. So it's a big number, but if you got Dogecoin at $1 short of something
If you got
wild happening, I
Dogecoin
mean,
on the largest platform in the world,
yeah,
Twitter,
all the
aka
money's there.
X, and people are sending it and tipping on just the hype alone, I believe can send us to $1. If we got to 70 last time and it was just talk, actual actions, I think would definitely pew.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are we getting at? We're getting at educate yourselves, have at least somebody in your circle that you can talk crypto with. I think it is important to have somebody else that fundamentally understands crypto so that you can bounce ideas off of each other, so that you can talk about price action, so that you can talk about what projects do, so that you can talk about. I've had people help me before just on some simple things. Not understanding how. I remember the first time I had to bridge. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, wait a minute, I got to move this from one network to another. What's this all about? Oh, wait a minute, I got to pay to do this too. Oh, that's kind of, I didn't understand any of it. And I had to bounce that idea off of somebody else, have it explained how to do it, whatnot. So make sure you keep that circle tight and people that you trust, and hopefully we can give you some alpha along the way. Smash the like if you haven't already. We got 31 people in here. It's Friday. I know people are just getting used to us streaming every day again. I'm looking forward to us continuing to heat things up as we move closer and closer to the bull market. All right, let's keep it rocking and rolling. Let's talk about Coinbase. Coinbase is the exchange that everybody looks to as kind of, especially when they're new to the markets, which is kind of what we were just talking about. 83% of major hubs are providing increasing regulatory clarity on crypto. It says, as momentum for crypto builds around the world, Coinbase is executing on phase 2 of our, quote, go broad, go deep strategy for international expansion. We see 1, enactment of clear rules, 2, innovation of more efficient, more accessible products and services, and 3, user trust created through these products and services as our formula for long-term growth. So there's a map right here that shows, it says 83% of the G20 and major financial hubs have either passed national crypto legislation or have crypto regulations in place. Why do I want to show you this map? Well, what is glaring to you, Crusader, when you look at this map? Are you muted?
Wait, where's that
Where's
that country that's number 1 in the world? Wait a minute.
Is it right here?
Yeah, it's whited out.
Well, it's right here, and it's white.
Damn
Why
racist.
is it white?
That's right. That's why. That's the problem.
That is the
damn
problem.
Racist.
These damn racists are messing it up for everybody. They're racist against our cryptocurrencies. I'll tell you what. Yeah, that is the problem, dude. Right there.
It's wild that the United States has let all these other countries be able to surpass it on regulation in a space that is literally revolutionizing the world, and we're just sitting around with our hands like, maybe we'll get to it eventually, but you know what will help us right now? Let's print some more money. Let's send some more money to Ukraine. That's what's really gonna help right now.
Yep, for sure. Let's
let
more people in.
$1.6 billion on over to our good old friends.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for. I think I have a fundamental understanding of why they will tell you that it is to protect you, the investor. That's what they will tell you. That is the theme. They will tell you that there's all this money laundering going on. They will tell you there's all this crime and fraud and all this, that, and the third. Well, if that's the case, why do we have the border wide open for all this fentanyl to keep crossing, right? If it was really about protecting the people, there would be stricter things in place all over, right? And so as we look at crypto, the only real answer can be they're purposely trying to slow down the train. And why is that? Well, we've talked about it before. We have a struggling economy. That's a nice way of putting it, right?
What are you talking about? I just heard the president of America say we had the strongest ever. How dare you go against that?
I absolutely. Oh, let me say something in regards to that. This is funny. So yeah, so all of that is happening. Let me kind of finish my thought, and then I'll dive over to that. Ultimately, we have all of these bad things happening, and then you have this opportunity that is crypto. That, hey, guess what? Not controlled by our government for the most part, right? There's obviously pieces parts that are and that will be and whatnot, and they're just trying to slow this down as much as possible, as opposed to just saying, sometimes when a fight breaks out, the best thing to do, right, is actually get into the fight. Well, that's what we're not doing. We're just like sitting on the sidelines waiting to see, who's going to get beat up or our allies going to do this, do that, because it keeps us safe. But sometimes you got to jump in there, get your hands dirty, and you know what I'm saying, take care of business. And the United States is not doing that because they are scared, right? And that's why most people would stay out of a fight, because they are scared. I think we've got a lot of work to do, a long way to go. I was going to say, as it relates to the president saying that we have the strongest economy in the world, there's this guy that made I saw a TikTok on this. It's funny. He made these bumper stickers, and the bumper sticker says, call this number for Biden support. And it said like Democrat, what did it say? Democrat support hotline. And he has a show, and these people call in to support Joe Biden, right, as part of the Democratic support hotline. And he absolutely does everything he can to piss these people off, talking about Donald Trump, talking about anything and everything that is controversial against the Democratic Party. I meant to send it to you earlier, Crusader. It is hilarious. He had this guy shaking and screaming on the phone about the Hunter Biden laptop and about Donald Trump. He's not gonna be in prison, and he shouldn't be there, and the person that should be there is Joe Biden and his crackhead son. And I mean, he had this guy absolutely just it was good. I'll find it and send it to you.
Check it out.
I'll find that and send it to you. So I don't know. I agree that the U.S. needs to make a change. I just don't know. Is it going to be the ETFs that we keep talking about that's going to be the final, like, okay, ETFs are there, and then the regulations are just going to be a part of it? You think it's going to kind of all usher in at the same time?
Because they're already filing in for the spot ETFs for Ethereum. Ethereum's also been like, oh, is it a commodity? Is it not a commodity? I believe there's been instances where people that used to work at the SEC have said that Ethereum is a commodity, even though it didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
They know for sure Bitcoin's already been deemed a commodity. They're not worried about it. That's why Bitcoin's paving the way. And, I honestly think that that's going to solidify things. Like, hey, everything here is good to go. Any altcoins outside of that can start causing the divide that, we just don't know just yet. So take that with a grain of salt. And I think that's really going to change the game. I think, Coinbase is going to get involved, and honestly, I don't know. I feel like a broken record talking about these damn ETFs all the time, but I'm just like, just do it already.
Yeah. The regulations do need to come into place, though, because as we were looking at that map, there's so many other countries that are already on board, right? And they're not small countries. I mean, these are countries that are economically advanced, and we're just kind of sitting back missing the boat. It's kind of like the moon landing, right? Like all of a sudden we thought that Russia, if you think that we landed on the moon, that's up for debate. But we thought that the Soviets were going to beat us there first, right? So all of a sudden, oh shoot, we got to hustle up and get into the studio and act like we got up to the moon. Or
where's that passion and like country pride of like, we need to be number one. We need to show the world that we're going to set the example and lead the way to the best possible industry ever. Yeah. We're just not experiencing that right now. We are literally sitting in the back of the line, just we'll see what happens. We'll see what everyone else does. It's like, then we're going to be playing catch up
and pitching to everyone all along the way that it is for your good. We're the government, and we are here to help. That is what they're pitching all day, every day. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep you guys apprised. Obviously, we do feel like a broken record sometimes having these discussions, but the reality is it's always in the news. We talk regulation. Recently, it's been ETF, but it's really important. And the regulatory side of it, the facts are just that as much as nobody probably really wants them, they're necessary in this regard for the amount of money to flow into crypto in the manner that it's going to need to flow in. We're going to have some regulations in place. They just won't allow it to happen. So speaking of some scammy stuff going on, it's always those damn North Koreans. I got to tell you, if it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's always, every time you see some sort of a scammer group or whatever, it's the North Korean. So if you know what I mean, I'll take North Korea for 10 million or 41 million. FBI says North Korea's Lazarus Group was behind $41 million stake hack. So the other day we were talking about the stake hack, and it says the hacker group is one of the most prolific, allegedly responsible for stealing $2 billion with a B dollars worth of assets. North Korea. You do not want to go over there. You will get stuck. The Lazarus Group, a North Korean hacker organization, was responsible for swiping $41 million in digital assets from the crypto casino Stake this week, according to a statement released on Thursday by the FBI. The Drake-backed gambling firm, which initially described a batch of associated transactions as, quote, unauthorized transfers, notified users that a Stake-led investigation was underway Monday, shortly after the attack took place. Sharing the results of its own investigation, the FBI listed addresses for dozens of digital wallets that purportedly contained stolen digital funds. Lazarus Group funneled crypto across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, and Binance Smart Chain networks, the FBI said. The attackers' digital footprints connect the attack by Lazarus Group to other recent heists, such as a $100 million theft from Atomic Wallet in June, $60 million stolen from projects Alapo and CoinSpade in July, the agency claimed. The Lazarus Group has become a thorn in the side of many crypto projects over the past several years. The analytics firm Elliptic said in June that the Lazarus Group has stolen over $2 billion in digital assets across multiple thefts. Crusader, let me ask you something. You know the technical side of things pretty well. What is happening here? So obviously money is stolen left, right, sideways, all over the world in multiple different ways, whatever. Do you think that this is because this is a newer technology, or do you think that blockchain might be part of the issue because everything's out there as it relates to some of the code and they're able to scan? Or do you think it's AI? Or like, if you had to guess how they're able to attack these vectors, we don't need to go back into your hacking days, okay? Not to put you on Front Street, but you know what I'm saying?
Dude, honestly, the go-to is like, oh, it's a new technology, right? Things are just happening. It's an easy target. But to be honest, I honestly think the fact that it's an unregulated market, right? Because it's not like the banking system has better technology than, blockchain and some of these crypto companies have. Right, their technology is antiquated. It's old. It's slow. So you're telling me that nobody's able to hack those systems and steal some money here and there? I believe what's happening here is it's easy to say, hey, this anonymous group across the world is continuously being the attacker here and stealing all this money, when it could be inside jobs, it could be other countries, it could be the United States themselves, it could be the CIA, it could be anyone, right, that is operating on, kind of on the line of being rogue and just doing its own thing and needs some operation money, and just goes and takes it and then just says, hey, it was them over there. How are we ever gonna know? Oh, the digital fingerprints point over there. Imagine if all you had to go do is show up to court and be like, the fingerprints point to this guy being the criminal. That's it. It was him. Don't ask any more questions.
Case closed.
We don't need to shit. That's it. It's over. It's them because the fingerprints say it's them and nothing else. So how easy is it to fabricate that kind of information? It's very easy, right? And especially when nobody's actually doing any research to it. So I think there's definitely a lot of suspicion, right? I'm not saying that the Lazarus Group couldn't be actually responsible for this and that they're lying. I'm just saying it's very easy to fabricate these type of digital fingerprints in any kind of way to make an enemy or have a boogeyman out there that is the most successful boogeyman in the world when it comes to stealing money from crypto. And no one else has attempted this. No other group, no other organization, no one else, just them. Sounds a little suspicious to me, and it's something that we definitely need to be mindful of.
Yeah, and also, it happens to be a country that we are, needless to say, at odds with.
And you get no information from. It's a country that you cannot extract a drop of information from, right? You don't know who's in there. You don't know nothing. Do we even know that this Lazarus Group exists? Like, what happened to the anonymous group that used to exist? What happened to the other groups? They're all gone. Now it's only Lazarus in North Korea. We know them specifically in North Korea. Well, if you know North Korea is stealing all this money, why is there not something being happened? Why is there not like some type of intervention happening with the country to stop that from happening? Oh, because it's government sanctioned. Okay, only they are sanctioning theft. No other CIA operatives sanction.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the set. So you keep hearing, like I was joking about at the start, North Korea, it was those damn North Koreans, right? North Korea. So it's almost like so that when things do pop off, we're able to say, hey, listen, They've been stealing. They've had government sanctioned theft via crypto and other assets for how long? You know what I mean? It almost justifies action down the road, at least on a news front. We've seen that in multiple different wars. I'm not saying that we would go to war over, a $40 million hack. What I'm trying to say, it was over 2 billion, I guess, total. What I'm trying to say is it just kind of solidifies the idea in people's minds over and over and over that these are like bad people, and they just happen to be, like you said, you can't get information, and you're ultimately chasing a ghost that you'll never be able to verify that it actually happened the way that that they did. Spoonfed Babies said North Korea considers that they are still at war with America. Don't underestimate North Korea. They've never lost a war. I don't know anything about the North Koreans as it relates to war, but what I do know
there was the Korean War, and I don't think they won that one.
I don't. Well, but we were involved in that. I think that was was North Korea even involved in the Korean War? I thought that was South Korea.
Only South Korea was involved in the Korean War. I could be.
Well, we were over there. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that. Well, I'm not going to speak on it. I don't know. I guess I just didn't realize.
You're telling me they didn't teach you this in Marine History 101? What wars you were in and what wars you weren't in?
They basically showed you a whole bunch. You want to hear something fun in boot camp? They show you all of this graphic freaking footage, like a lot of it, and I found out later on, like they're just desensitizing you to that, right? So that when the time comes that they need you to do something graphic, right? That it's just, you're used to seeing it, whatever. So
just another Tuesday,
just another Tuesday, just another Friday, whatever day it is where you are. So Crypto Fam, smash the like if you haven't already. Again, just a reminder, I know we get off on some of these political rants once in a while. If you want to hear a full political rant, we got it pinned in the chat for Danger Close Alpha. That's on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to check that out. All right, moving on up. Let's talk about some Bitcoin mining. We spoke on this yesterday, but this is interesting. I love seeing this because there's been so much information around how Bitcoin is this awful thing. It's killing all of the energy grids and blah, blah, blah. When the funny part is our energy grid can't even handle effectively what we have on it now. Right. And we want to sell everybody a Tesla. Right. And so it's very interesting to me that we not only waste so much power, but we also try to push power that we don't even have. So guess what? Time for the energy company to pay up. Check this out. How Bitcoin miners in Texas are making millions. Here's the big part: without mining at all. Miners either mine Bitcoin or curtail energy when prices are high to sell it back to the grid. Compass Mining told Decrypt, giving them a better return than mining. I'm going to scroll down to one paragraph and explain to you what's happening, right? It is right here.
So you're saying I could just buy a miner, sit it on my...
I'm saying you better have a ton of them if you're going to do this, right? It says, to clarify, we're not getting paid to shut off. Well, that's definitely just him saying what he needs to say on the forefront. It says, referring to the $31 million energy credits his company received from ERCOT, Les told Decrypt, the bulk of the credits we earned come essentially trading power. The CEO added that they have power contracts, and by, quote, choosing not to mine, they make money on the spread between the contract price and the market price. So let me tell you what they're doing here, okay? We have our Bitcoin mining thing that we've been talking about. We have a contract price. We have a contractual price in play for every for every terahash, for every kilowatt hour, like a price per, it's a certain number of pennies per kilowatt hour. And so what's happening is these massive companies have a contractual price, and they have a contract worked out between them and the energy company. Let's just say they've got it. They go to the energy company and they get it for 2 cents per kilowatt hour, which, by the way, over in Ohio right now, it's like 12 cents. But just using that as an example, because they're a massive company, they probably have a great contract set up. It's in Texas, which is lower, whatever. Let's just say it's 2 cents for easy math, right? And then what's happening is the power grid is getting overworked. And the first thing that has to be shut off is things that they deem to be like not essential, right? We've heard that one before. So Bitcoin mining is considered to be not essential. So the energy company goes to the Bitcoin mining firm and says, hey, listen, We need you to shut down operations. And then Bitcoin mining says, fine. What's the current price that you're charging all of these people that paying their energy? Oh, it's 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Well, that's fine. We'll shut everything down. Just give us the 8-cent spread between the 2 cents contractually that we have and the 10 cents that we were going, that you're going to be selling all of this to people to. We'll shut it down. And effectively, they're not even mining and making 8 cents. They're basically hosting off of the energy company's grid without even mining the Bitcoin and getting paid out in fiat for doing it. They're making money off of that spread. That's wild.
That's wild, dude. They literally got the energy company by the balls. Like
they do.
Like, dude, we're not. You don't want us mining? Pay us the spread that you got. So how is this energy company even staying afloat at this point if they're giving up all that money over there? That's wild.
I think that it was talking about like a massive heat wave that went through there, blah, 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 blah. The reality is Bitcoin mining does a lot of great things for, energy in terms of it can be a renewable energy source. And what I mean by that is using this excess energy that's just being burned off. But at some point, the grid can only handle so much. And so I think it's genius, dude. I think it's absolutely, you have a business and you have a contract with them. And so they have to honor the contract. And if they're going to ask you to shut down operations, whereas you would be making massive amounts of profit via Bitcoin, well, sure, we'll shut it down. No problem, right? Now we have no energy costs whatsoever because the machines are just free down. Money. And you just go ahead and start paying us, baby. No overhead, no nothing. So I don't know. How many miners do you think we need to corner the energy company like that? I'm going to say
I don't know. But I wonder if they're converting that cash into Bitcoin because, they're getting paid. They're stacking Bitcoin when they're mining. But if they're getting just paid straight up US dollars, I still think it'd be a smart idea to be converting that over to Bitcoin. So when the bull run turns back around.
Well, the mining company, So I guess it depends on the overhead that they have, right? If they have a ton of overhead and that can cover effectively, if they looked at their spreadsheet, their financial spreadsheets and said, hey, we've got this much overhead over the course of the year, $10 million. We just got $10 million in fiat to pay in overhead. We don't want to pay it in Bitcoin, boom, bam, slam. But the reality is you're probably right. They probably are, because at least in our case, everything gets paid in Bitcoin. The payouts are in Bitcoin. The energy companies are taking Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just
all transacting in Bitcoin. So if you didn't know it, folks, more and more and more massive companies are taking big money in Bitcoin.
It wouldn't make smart business sense to be holding the extra cash after you've paid your overhead. Just, we got paid cash, so we're just going to hold the cash. Why? When you can hold the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin will appreciate in value.
Yeah, that's the hope anyway. It hasn't been appreciating recently, and it looks like we're going to be testing some lower numbers. But hey, again, like I said, oportunidad. That's what that is. That is definitely an opportunity. So I think that was just an interesting one to talk about, another angle that some of these mining companies
energy
are going after.
Thing is very important to talk about because people don't really realize how sensitive the energy grid is in the United States. Right. Well, a few years ago, blizzard blew by Texas and people were freezing in their house.
People died in their house.
Yeah. And it's the energy grid in California. They're having brownouts because of all the things that are happening, whether it's natural disasters, fires, this, that. The energy grid can't keep up with the demand of all the Teslas as well and all these charging stations. So I don't know how long or when they're going to start revamping the
adding to
grid.
the infrastructure.
Yeah, because at this point, how much longer can we actually sustain it?
I think what it should show you too is how much Fugazi is going into this energy, this green energy, we can't even support the quote unquote green energy because of the massive amount of extra energy it actually takes. Not to mention, we've talked about before, how you have to use oil to ship the batteries from the trucks, from the ships overseas. Take all of that out. The reality is these Tesla charging stations they suck some power, right? And if you push everybody like California wants to, California's already having brownouts. Now you're going to try to push everybody into an electric vehicle. I think by 2025. I don't think.
I had a question about electric vehicles. Wonder if you could clarify on this. If the vehicle is fully electric, means it has a battery,
Mhm.
It gets charged. That battery, regular cars right now have alternators, right?
Mhm.
Alternators generate electricity that
Yep.
continuously recharges the
To
battery,
recharge the battery. Yep.
right? Why isn't there some type of alternator apparatus that as the vehicle is moving, it is getting that kinetic energy and storing it into the battery so it can be a self-charging car?
Did you just sell a valuable idea for free on a live stream?
I do this
I
all
don't
the
know.
time.
I'm gonna make an assumption that idea right there has probably been talked about heavily, and there's maybe just not a solution for it right now.
I don't know how. It's an electric vehicle.
But the
Things make
alternator only keeps enough.
electricity.
But the
How can
alternator only
you?
keeps enough juice to fire the vehicle. Like it's not like it's storing up a ton. It like is enough to fire the vehicle, enough to put on the the
Because
outputs for
we
the
we run on gas fuel
right,
vehicles, so they don't
right,
really need to do that. But if you're
right.
going fully electric, you would think that somebody designing the vehicle would say, "Wait a minute! Instead of these stations, right? Why are we not building something into the car that makes it self-charging?"
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. It's a great
Yeah,
idea. I just don't
20
know. French Toaster said
2023, and we don't have the technology. What do you mean we don't have the technology? We went to the moon
French.
in 1963.
Yeah, but can't go back because we lost the technology.
Yeah,
Regenerative brakes are a thing. I did not know
I
that.
haven't heard about that.
A1 says that. So thanks, chat. This is a great question, Crusader. They have it already. The Ford C-Max does it, and the brakes also capture energy, but it's still not enough to run it by itself. Okay, so they've got something like it, but it's probably for some extra
I
mileage
think
or whatever. We'll get there.
I think
We'll get
these
there.
charging stations are part of the plan. It's like the companies, somebody's going to be in charge of the power stations, right? They're like, hey, we're going to be the gas stations of the future. You can't just leave us out of the industry, right? Because you imagine no more stations of any kind. So it's like that's a huge industry that just gets wiped out. They're like, we can't put that technology out there. You guys got
Oh
to
yeah,
build
it's
us
like
charging.
it's like the water powered car that the guy got killed that just mysteriously got X'd off the planet. Figured out how to run a vehicle on water. Started to
Not
tell
today.
people about it. No bueno.
Not
So
today.
if you know how to run a vehicle on water, you better not share that because there's you're not going to be around very long. Great idea, and I know they could do it. By the way, for sure, 100%. Technology's there. But guess what?
We went to the moon, but we can't make a car that runs
It
on water.
don't make them money, so they're not interested in giving it to you.
Bro. They said that the technology that took us to the moon is less technology than your calculator has today.
Where'd you hear that?
That was from NASA. Like a little basic, calculator
Uh-huh.
had more technology or very equivalent a level of tech that the rockets and everything that took us to the moon had
Well,
computer wise.
of course, because it was all simulated anyway, and the computers just weren't as good then. That's what
I
they're
ain't
really
saying that.
telling you. They're telling you without
I
telling
ain't
you
saying that. You know what I
that
mean?
you know what I mean. That's what they're really telling you. No, it wouldn't surprise me, dude. The technology has continued to move so exponentially, but it does come down to it just like anything in crypto, finance, whatever. What's the money angle? How do we make money on this? How do the institutions heavily benefit from it? I did a video earlier that's going to get released tonight, I believe, that Crusader and I were talking about earlier. You guys have to make sure to check this out. The foundational ideas, like, is BlackRock getting into Bitcoin effectively to become the new world bank? So make sure you guys check that video out. It's a really interesting idea of selling debt to the people. And effectively, that's what the American dream was. Hey, what do we got to sell people in the 50s? Homes and the white picket fence. Exactly. And that's how they sell debt. And the debt is what keeps the banks running. Blase blah. Could BlackRock be playing the same game? Check that video out. I think that goes
Bitcoin is
like
property.
7. Yep, it is.
So they're gonna be selling you a new property.
It is a commodity. It is a property. Definitely check that out. I think there's an interesting angle there. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the CFTC. CFTC. Oh, let me actually share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. CFTC charges 3 DeFi protocols. And then stick around. We've got the massive prison sentence that we're going to be announcing. Crusader's gone. He's about to get 11,000 years for his part in a scam. CFTC charges 3 DeFi protocols with violating AML rules, operating without licenses. Decentralized exchanges Open, 0x, Deridex settled with the CFTC on charges that included failing to geo-block U.S. users. In an order issued Thursday, the U.S. commodities regulator filed and settled charges against 3 DEXs, imposing fines and issuing cease and desist orders. The CFTC acted against 3 DeFi protocols, Open, 0x, and Deridex, for illegally offering leveraged and margined retail commodity transactions in digital assets, among other charges. The charges against 3 projects primarily revolved around their failure to obtain the appropriate licenses for operating in the U.S. Deridex and Open also faced charges for failing to, quote, register as a swap execution facility, I didn't know that was a thing, or designated contract market, and failing to register as a futures commission merchant. The 2 exchanges were also held liable for not blocking U.S. users and violating anti-money laundering laws under the Bank Secrecy Act. The CFTC orders stipulate that they pay civil monetary penalties of $250, $200, and $1,000 respectively. All 3 companies were based in Delaware and located in North Carolina. Well, here's another example of what we were talking about earlier, right? They what did they want to do? They wanted to keep U.S. users from using a decentralized exchange. It's the same song and dance we keep seeing.
And why? Because it has a centralized point of operation in Delaware and North Carolina. So they just came after them. That's the problem, right? These companies creating these decentralized products, right? But it's not decentralized. There is a place to go and find who they are and have it shut down or have it altered in any type of way. So how decentralized really is it? That's the same problem that I have with a lot of these other cryptos like HBAR, XRP, right? It's decentralized. There's a company and there's a company behind it. Obviously,
they're going to argue that the protocol that the protocol itself is decentralized.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
100%. The technology is decentralized, but the company that works on the technology is not. Therefore, when they come after them, just how they did with the SEC and XRP price tanked, right? Because why? XRP is not getting sued. Ripple's getting sued. So why is XRP tanking, right? Same thing with HBAR and all these other companies. If they can come after the company and make the company do something to alter the blockchain or to alter how the company works in any kind of way to benefit the government, how is that truly decentralized if that company is going okay,
there's nobody to go after with Bitcoin.
That's right.
Who are you going to go after? You know, Satoshi Nakamoto.
Satoshi's still running.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Having that central, and the other problem is calling it decentralized, but then now I know that operations, need to be able to happen. I know that it takes money to operate and whatnot. So you're going to have some, some hands obviously in the cookie jar, so to speak. But you're right, that central entity that can make decisions for a project that ultimately is making money off of said project takes the whole idea of decentralization away. So it doesn't surprise me that they're going to go after it. They'll continue to do that, by the way. If there's money to be made, if you haven't figured it out yet, the CFTC, the SEC, the United States government will continue to go after these entities, especially if they skirt or try to or if they even look like they're going to skirt some of the few regulations and laws that they have in place right now. It's interesting that they won't give us full-on regulation and introspective like information on certain assets, but they sure as heck have got how you got to register, right? It's like being a contractor. Like, well, if you want to do this type of work, you got to have this license. Well, guess what? This license does what? Cost me freaking money. I have to do paperwork and pay you money to get it. What do you think's happening here? They won't give us clear regulations on the assets and what's a security, what's not, but they'll sure as heck tell you what you got to do to get your license. And I promise you, all of those licenses cost big, big money. So, it always comes down to money.
Always.
Now, smash the like if you haven't already, Crypto Family. Appreciate you guys for being here. You can hang out anywhere on a Friday, but you're hanging out with Debate Crypto, so we appreciate you guys, no doubt. Chat's been popping off today. A lot of good stuff in the chat. So thank you guys for being here. All right. So last but not least, the moment you've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. We have got a big prison sentence. I have never seen a prison sentence like this. 11,196 year jail sentence for Farouk Ozer, CEO of collapsed Turkish crypto exchange Thodex. Thodex was one of Turkey's largest crypto exchanges before it suddenly went offline in April 2021, and Ozer went missing. Okay, let's talk about it. So the founder, Ozer, Farouk Fatih Ozer, which I'm probably butchering that, but whatever, of the collapsed Turkish crypto exchange Thodex, his sister, Serap Ozer, and his brother, Guven Ozer, the whole freaking family, have been sentenced to 11,196 years, 10 months, and 15 days in prison, but who's counting? A judicial fine of 135 million liras, which is like $5 million, was also imposed. Now, I'd never heard of Thodex, but they were apparently one of Turkey's largest crypto exchanges before it suddenly went offline in April 2021. And what do you know? Ozer's missing. Over 400,000 members were left in the dark without access to deposits of $2 billion in crypto. Ozer had fled to Albania, but was arrested in August 2022 after an Interpol red notice against him. By 2023, he was extradited to Turkey, detained by the police upon arrival on 7 charges. I'm not going to read through all of these charges, but let me just say this. 11,196 years. There's a reason that Turkey put an 11,000 year sentence on somebody, right? Because people can digest the idea of a life sentence. If you just
they're setting the bar for Trump.
They're setting the bar for Trump. Yeah, Turkey's saying, "Hey, Trump, let's pay attention because we got something for you over here in Turkey." No, people can digest the idea of a life sentence. It's like you say life, and you're like, "Damn, that sucks," right? But exactly like the headline reads when we read this, and you put it on the thumbnail, it's like, "Wait a minute, somebody got 11,000 years? Like that?
How many lifetimes is that?"
I mean, hundreds of lifetimes, right? I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean,
the thing with lifetime I've seen before is like, what if you clinically go dead for a few minutes and then you come back? Technically, your lifetime prison sentence is over because you lived, you died, but you came back. So it's like, hey, my life sentence is over, baby. Like I'm back.
I'm out and I'm back. Yeah. So, and also an interesting thing in certain states in the United States, I don't know if you knew this or not, but a life sentence is like 25 years. So
really?
So they have natural life. This is in different states, but they have what's called a natural life sentence, which means you there till you die. And then certain states, you have to look up which ones, but certain states have a life sentence. Some of them are 15 years, as low as 15 years. They consider it a life sentence, and it's basically the life of that, like the most you can be charged for that crime, and they will call it a life sentence for something. So 15 years, 25 years, 50 years, they have different life sentences. And so you got to pay attention to that. But ultimately,
do they vary by crime, or is just like,
no, I think they just vary. I just think they vary by
crime.
I just think they vary by state. Let me see. How long is it?
But like they vary on the severity of the crime, or they vary on like just whatever crime it is, the most you can get is 25 years.
Look, check this out. How much is a life sentence in the USA? A life sentence, the life sentences consecutively would have a minimum amount of time served for each life sentence. A basic life conviction in the United States carries a minimum of 25 years before parole eligibility. 3 life sentences would mean the person wouldn't be eligible for release until 75 years have passed. So it's even more than I understood. Like when they just say, "Hey, this person got a life sentence," you need to look into it further because it might be for their whole life, but they're eligible for parole after 25 years. I don't remember where I learned that. I think it might have been when I got out after my life sentence. You guys have no idea who you're following. No. And so I think Turkey did this for one reason only. It's saying, hey, do not F with Turkey. Do not F with the citizens.
Turkey's effed. They're getting real stuffed over there.
Well, yeah.
Their inflation is like
over there. Their turkeys are getting stuffed.
Dude, they're donezo.
It's like 100%, or it's wild.
Insane over there. And it's like, we literally talked about it this week. 50% of turkeys over there have, freaking Bitcoin and all that stuff. They haven't finding alternate stuff. So I think that might be the reason why. The fact that so many people hold crypto in that country now, moving forward, they're like, we need to set an example. We need, right? The people are finding alternatives and they're living off that alternative because their currency is in trouble. We can't allow any crypto scams from that scale to occur in this country because the people are highly dependent on it over there.
Yeah.
Versus over here is like, oh, you lost 40 million or whatever it is, or FTX went down and people lost billions. Who cares? 50% of our population isn't dependent on crypto.
That's a good point. I also think, just different countries handle things differently. If you've ever watched, what's the show I like to
Andrew
watch?
Tate about that.
I like to watch. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I like to watch. I think it's called Locked Up Abroad. Yeah, it's called Locked Up Abroad. And
so you know what to expect when you get there.
Exactly, right. So I know which countries not to break the law, right? Like I know for sure. Don't be smuggling drugs in Thailand. They will cut your damn head off. Like they don't play around. Right. And so there are certain countries that set examples, like they're telling you, hey, listen, you can do a lot of wild stuff over here, have your fun, do your thing, but don't do this. Right. And so maybe Turkey is setting the bar and saying, hey, listen, you can do some wild stuff over here. Okay. But don't mess with our money. Our money's already screwed. Okay. Now people are migrating over to crypto. Don't be playing with our money. Because 11,190, I'll give you 11,196 reasons why not to mess with, people.
$2 billion, dude. Only $2 billion.
$2 billion. So what's Sam Bankman-Fried's what's his sentence gonna look like?
I think Sam Bankman-Fried paid the right people. That guy did not pay the right people.
Apparently, he didn't pay anybody.
No,
he did not pay anybody. So actually, if you go further into the article, there was 20 people that got charged, and they had a combined possibility of 40,000 years in prison. It's in the article. It said they were looking at 40,000 years. Now, 15 of them, I believe, got acquitted for not enough info. But you said it best earlier, Crusader. What happened there? Did they get acquitted for lack of info they didn't have on them, or did they get acquitted for the info they did have that they was rolling on?
Exactly.
They were rolling on people. That's what was happening. Actually, I wasn't even talking to you. I was on the phone with somebody about that. It wasn't even you. They snitched. I mean, flat out, right? Like ultimately, you look at mob bosses all the way down the line. That penalty gets severe enough, everybody's a snitch.
It's not even that. It's been proven, and it's been said that there are certain bosses of crime that the police allow to exist.
Yeah,
because they work with the police. So it's like the police understands.
He wasn't to get that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, for sure. The police understands that they can't control all crime, and they will never eliminate all crime. So they have to allow certain people to stay in power in criminal organizations because they are working with those people to capture all the other people here and there, right? They do that.
Cartels do that.
And cartels,
for sure.
It's like that's the only 100%. Way you survive. When you get big enough, there's so many eyes on you. The only way to survive is you need to start talking and working with the police so they allow you to keep running your business, being protected by them, while your opponents are being eliminated.
Yeah, I pay attention to a lot of the narco stuff, and there's a lot of where they effectively go to the police, and not even just in a crooked, like it's all crooked, but not even just in a crooked way where it's like, hey, I'll grease your pockets and you just look the other way.
Official document.
No, like officially, hey, we're gonna allow you to operate here, but here's the deal. The murder has got to stop, right? Like, so they'll basically take the lesser of two evils. We'll allow you to transport and distribute your drugs throughout wherever it is that you're doing it, but the murder, like it has to stop. So effectively, you need to keep it down to a minimum, and if you don't, then this agreement is null and void, and it basically incentivizes the lack of pure chaos that comes along with crime. I think that on the crypto side of it, it's, they have like the bug bounties or whatever, right? I don't know why more of these hacker groups don't go that route. I really don't. Like, what if they, so for example, Stake is a multi-billion-dollar company. Whether it was North Koreans or not, I don't care who it was, you would think that effectively they could go to them all set up and ready to execute this, or maybe even execute it and immediately go to them and say, listen, we're willing to give you a large chunk of this back. We're going to expose and show you what the problem was in your code so that this never happens to you again. Why do they not do that? So many of these companies offer these bug bounties. Why are these hackers not saying, hey, this is the legitimate way to go about it? We can still make a massive amount of money. And guess what? Be free and clear with it to spend it.
That's what's suspicious about it. That's why I'm suspicious that, you know, it's not so much these hacker groups are abroad and all this thing, that there's something else behind it, because that would be the most logical thing,
Of
right?
course.
And just, but they can just, it's easier to just point the finger and say somebody else is doing it.
Yeah. That was me. Well, not me. I wasn't actually crying, but my daughter obviously was upset about something. Crypto fam, we love you guys. Again, it's Friday. Could have been anywhere, but you're hanging out with us. We hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Please be safe. If you guys are drinking, please don't drive. Sunday, make sure that you're back 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Debate Crypto. 1 p.m. we've got pinned in the chat for Danger Close Alpha. So obviously we're going to do our crypto thing, then run in, do our political thing. We appreciate the subs that we've been getting. We'd love it if you guys would come check us out over there as well. I think that's about it for today. Question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl.
Like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.